Okay, what is up, founder family? In this video, I'm going to unabashedly, quickly answer your most burning questions off the top of this curly-headed dome. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run through these and give you my best answers in under a minute per answer. Let's see if I can do it. That's a great question. First of all, I recommend you take these very specific actions. One, do a skill inventory of what you're actually good at and what you've been praised at or requested for or interested in the past. That skill inventory will unlock some new ideas for you. Number two, make sure you check out what's happening in your marketplace. Make sure you understand what the industry in general needs and what the people who you want to serve need the most help with. That's understanding the market. And then three, use my AMO method. AMO stands for Avatar, Marketing Message, Offer. Avatar 1, understand who your target is. Marketing message, number 2, understand what you're saying to your target. And then of course, O, number 3, understand what your offer actually is. What are you selling? Once you figure those things out, the pieces will start to fall in place. Then the last part of this is just continue to iterate it. Continue to refine your avatar, your marketing message, and your offer until you find the best fit. That will give you a good idea of what you're good at. In the beginning, it seems hazy, but as you do this process over and over again, you'll get better at figuring out who you are and what you want to sell. That's the first one. Testimonials and case studies are worth their weight in gold. What do I mean by this? When you are just starting your side hustle and you have a skill that you're pushing, you want to find people who can experience your skill set and who can really show a genuine appreciation for it, because what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to show others that you're worthy and capable, and it's going to allow you to charge for those skills that are billed as services. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to find 3 people that you know. Could be in your friends or family network, it doesn't have to be, but find 3 people who could benefit from your skill right now, and you can either choose to charge them a small amount of money to get some buy-in, to get some skin in the game as they call it, or you can choose to do it for free. And what I would say is, when you're offering free work, always offer it in the context of, well, this is a discount on my regular rates. I mean, even when I do free work for someone, what I'll often do is I'll submit them an invoice with the invoice crossed out to show the discount, just so they know, okay? Just so y'all know this costs $200 an hour, okay? So do some free work, invoice it as if it were paid work, get those case studies and testimonials via video if you can. Video is the best way. Even if you're just starting off and you don't have much of a following or a platform or a presence, getting video testimonials are great. One thing I'll even do, which is a hack, is I'll set up a Google voicemail, like a Google phone number. And sometimes I'll talk to my clients on the phone and they'll say something really nice about me and they'll say, oh, you really helped me with this, that, and the other. And I'll say, you know what? Hold that thought. Please call this number and repeat that. And I'll have them call into the Google Voice number and then they'll just leave their testimonial on the voice. And then the Google Voice will transcribe it into a testimonial and I'll just take it and put it on my website, with some small edits. You gotta think about it, baby. But that sells. Testimonials and case studies sell. So you start off doing a little bit of free work and I guarantee you it snowballs into paid work when other people see that. Because at the end of the day, even when you go on Amazon, you're looking at the reviews, aren't you? Everyone wants to see reviews. Reviews sell and you can get reviews for free. See how I reverse engineered that? People always say to me, Daniel, do I have to quit my job in order to be a successful entrepreneur? And I say, yes. Well, okay. Yes, asterisk, with a caveat. You don't have to quit your job to start a side hustle. That's why it's called side hustle. You can do it on the side. And the beautiful thing about this is you can build in however much time you want to devote to this. If you're billing hourly, it's going to be very easy to know how much time you have to do this. If you're billing by project, you'll have to see how many projects you can fit into your spare time. If I were to quit my 9 to 5 tomorrow, what would my client intake, my hourly work have to be like? What would I have to do to make it happen, make it a reality? And that's the math you can start to do. So you don't have to quit your main job at all to have a successful side hustle. But in order for it to be something that moves from a side hustle to self-sustaining, well, you gradually turn one dial up and gradually turn the other dial down. And my advice would be that if you can get to about 60% to 70% of the revenue you can make from your main 9 to 5 job with your side hustle, what that tells you is that if you just put in more time and energy, you'd be able to actually make up for or exceed the difference of your main job with your side work. And that's when you can make the transition. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Okay, next one. what you should do is you should get practice, a lot of practice. You can practice in the mirror. You can practice just saying your offer. That'll be $3,000, please. That'll be $5,000. My package is X, Y, and Z. Get into the process of just becoming automatic with making your offer. Start doing it in yourself, in your spare time, in your free time, and then start working more with clients and getting yourself out there, pitching yourself. I am an extrovert, as you can tell, but you don't have to be an extrovert to learn how to successfully sell to people. You know what I would recommend? Develop your confidence. You can do this with self-teaching. You can do this through taking classes. Even improv comedy or sketch comedy is amazing for you. You're not going to hear these suggestions from a lot of business coaches because they're coming from the right brain. They're coming from the more soft side of the skill set of human interaction. They're not hard, numbers-based, conversion-based, but when you learn to develop these softer human skills, it gets so much easier just to talk to people, because that's all selling is. I'm selling to you right now. Don't you feel sold? And I'm just talking to you. Learn that skill set. You'll get more comfortable. You're watching this video because you want to start a side hustle. The want is what precedes the space. If you want to, it's not probably enough. You have to want to and need to. You probably should be at a point in your life where you need the extra money for that space to appear. It's so funny how the need creates the space. The want doesn't create the space, but as that need develops and it becomes stronger, you'd be surprised how much time you find to make for the things in your life that are really important to you. And that's what I would encourage you to do. Dig into your need. And when you find that you've reached a point where your current lifestyle is not meeting your requirements, where your needs are not being met by your current circumstances, then you're going to develop this fire in you, and that fire is going to clear the path for a new time to do this work. And it could only be an hour and a half a day. It doesn't have to be forever. A lot of this time is just creating the space for it and then allowing it to do the work over consistent periods of time rather than all in one day. So what I'd like you to do is focus on one time every day. Could be, 30 minutes, could be an hour or more every day where you're thinking about your business, where you're doing some of the things we've talked about so far, and you're making the space for that intentional, and then see what comes of it. It definitely is possible. And what I would encourage you to do is I would just encourage you to read a lot of business biographies and autobiographies. Just read of the people who you're most interested in. And this will give you insights into how their lives actually are if you're reading really good books. You can read business how-to books all the time, but when you read the stories of the leaders of these businesses, you'll see they all have the same issues. They all have the same challenges. I remember reading a book many years ago about the habits of billionaires, and they were talking about Sam Walton, and they took a quote from one of Sam's kids, and she was like, "My dad says we're going broke, but he won't stop opening stores up," which I thought was hilarious. And it just goes to show you that so many of the people who you look up to and admire currently are undergoing or have undergone some of your same challenges. And when you see how they overcome them, you'll be even more impressed. And honestly, you'll probably find that many of the people who you admire actually had a harder time getting to where they are, and then you'll start to feel like, oh, I really have no excuse now. So read a few good business autobiographies of the people who you admire, and then see how your perspective starts to change when you think about, do I have time? Is my circumstance special? Am I a unique snowflake? You're not. I love you, but you're not. When should you give up on your side hustle? When's the right time to bail on something? Let's just put something in context for a minute. Because I think that, especially in the hustle culture, there is this idea of quitting and not being a quitter. And what I've learned is that there's a big difference between giving up and moving on. Giving up is saying, well, I can't handle this situation and it exceeds my abilities at the moment and I'm too frustrated to continue. Moving on says, well, I've assessed the situation and I don't feel like it's the best fit for me, so I'm changing course. Neither one of these is wrong because I think you learn something from both. But if you decide that you're working on a side hustle or a business and it's not working and you just don't like it, there's no reason why you have to stay doing it. You can always change, which I think is something that it goes unsaid, but people don't think about when starting a business. People want to pick the perfect business the first time because they're like, okay, I need to get a winner out of the gate, otherwise this isn't going to work. Or if I'm going to be doing this for 10 more years, I need to make sure I really love it. But what you're not seeing is that once you get on the track of running a business, every year you'll make changes. So don't be afraid to give up something that's not working, okay? That being said, if you're working on something and it's not bringing you the results you want, you need to analyze it, just like a doctor or an engineer. You need to look at the place that isn't working and understand why. If the business isn't working and it's because you're not talking to the right people, then maybe it means you need to change your messaging. If the business is getting people interested but they're not buying from you, then you need to work on what you're saying during the sales process or the closing. If people are buying from you but they're not having results, you need to look at what you're selling and how it's working or not working. And so analyze it more like from your left brain. You know, the right brain is what's going to get you inspired and motivated and creative and wanting to be involved in this. And the left brain is what's going to keep you sane and grounded and focused when things get a little bit hazy. So use the numbers to tell whether it's working or not. And if it's not, change your strategy, change your approach, or change your direction entirely. But there's no problem with changing ideas. There's no problem with giving up or moving on. But just understand where you are and where you want to go, and make assessments based on the information, the data in front of you, especially when things get a little emotional, because that will help you to make a decision on, is this idea a bad idea, or is it a good idea that hasn't been given enough attention, enough time, enough money, enough leads, you know? Learn to differentiate that. And it might take you a few cycles, a few years, a few startups and shutdowns to learn that. I'm still learning, and hopefully I'm right, but I'm not always.
Hey guys, hope you're loving our videos and that you're getting heaps of value from them. If you are, make sure to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe to join the Founder Fam. If you did enjoy this video and want to continue to master your skills, make sure you click here to access your free training now, where we'll go into way more depth with this founder.